Admiral Zekthon's mandibles clicked with amusement as he reviewed the intelligence reports on his command display. The primitive world designated Terra 3 had somehow managed to cobble together what their crude languages called a space fleet. The thought was laughable. 500 cycles of galactic civilization, he mused to his tactical officer, and these hairless apes think they can challenge the hegemony with their metal scrap. The Corvani Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past decade, alone. Their crystalline battleships, powered by harvested stellar energy and protected by quantum-folded shields, were technological marvels that had brought entire civilizations to their knees. What could a species that had barely achieved faster-than-light travel possibly do against such might? "Sir," the tactical officer's voice carried a note of uncertainty. "The human fleet is larger than anticipated." Zekthon's 4 eyes focused on the display. Where intelligence had predicted perhaps a dozen crewed vessels, nearly 200 ships hung in formation around Terra 3's third moon. They were angular, utilitarian things, no elegant curves or artistic flourishes like proper warships. Just brutal efficiency wrapped in reactive armor plating. "Numbers mean nothing without technology," Zekthon dismissed. "Begin the demonstration. Target their largest vessel." The Eternal Dominion, flagship of the Corvani fleet, was a kilometer-long masterpiece of engineering. Its primary weapon could crack a moon in half. Surely one shot would send these primitives fleeing back to their mudball planet. Energy cascaded along the flagship's central spine as the stellar cannon charged. Zekthon watched the human fleet with anticipation, waiting for them to scatter in terror as they witnessed true power. Instead, something unexpected happened. The human ships moved, not in panic, but with coordinated precision that spoke of countless hours of training. They didn't flee, they advanced, their formation shifting like a living thing as smaller vessels wove between larger ones in patterns that defied conventional tactical doctrine. "Sir, they're jamming our targeting systems," the tactical officer reported, his voice rising with alarm. "Impossible. Our systems are quantum encrypted." The words died in Zekthon's throat as the human fleet opened fire. There were no elegant energy beams or crystalline projectiles. Instead, the humans unleashed something far more terrifying in its simplicity. Kinetic rounds accelerated to significant fractions of light speed, accompanied by nuclear warheads that burned like miniature stars, and swarms of self-guiding missiles that moved with predatory intelligence. The Eternal Dominion's shields flared and held against the first wave, then the second. But the humans didn't stop. They kept firing with mechanical persistence, their weapon systems cycling with clockwork precision. "How are they maintaining such a rate of fire?" Zekthon demanded. His answer came as he watched. The human ships in action. While Corvani vessels relied on elegant, efficient energy systems, the humans had built their ships around massive ammunition manufactories. They were literally producing munitions in real time, their ships serving as mobile weapons factories that could sustain bombardment far longer than should have been possible. More disturbing was their coordination. The Corvani fought as individual ships, each captain making decisions based on honor and glory. The humans fought as a single organism, their ships working in perfect unison despite having no apparent central command structure. "Sir, multiple. Hull breaches on decks 7 through 12. Zekthon stared in disbelief as his flagship, the pride of the Corvani fleet, shuddered under the relentless human assault. His shields were failing, not from any single devastating blow, but from the accumulation of thousands of smaller impacts, each one precisely targeted to maximize damage. "Return fire, all ships. Concentrate on their command vessel." But which ship? was commanding? As Zekthon watched, he realized the humans had no single flagship. Each vessel seemed capable of independent operation while remaining perfectly coordinated with the whole. It was a tactical philosophy that went against everything. The Corvani understood about warfare. A new alarm shrieked across the bridge. "Sir, enemy boarding pods are attaching to our hull." Boarding pods? Zekthon's mandibles spread in a mixture of outrage and incredulity. "What manner of barbarians?" The answer came as human soldiers breached his ship's corridors. While Corvani, warriors, were tall, graceful beings who fought with honor and ceremony, the humans were something else entirely. They moved through the ship's passages like a plague, their weapons crude but devastatingly effective, their tactics focused purely on results rather than glory. They didn't duel his warriors in single combat. They overwhelmed them with coordinated team tactics, using everything from directed explosives to simple kinetic weapons that somehow proved remarkably effective against Corvani physiology. "Sir, engineering is compromised. They're heading for the reactor core." Zekthon watched his tactical display with growing horror as red indicators spread throughout his ship. The humans weren't trying to capture the Eternal Dominion. They were systematically dismantling it from within, treating his magnificent flagship like a machine to be taken apart rather than a vessel of war to be conquered. Within 30 minutes of the engagement's start, the pride of the Corvani fleet was listing helplessly, its weapon systems offline and its power core in human hands. "Admiral," his communications officer's voice was barely a whisper. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." The main display shifted to show a human in simple military attire. No ornate armor, no ceremonial decorations, just practical clothing and cold, intelligent eyes. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," the human said, her voice carrying across the void with quiet authority. "To any Corvani vessel still capable of receiving this transmission, you came to our home expecting to find primitives. Instead, you found humans. We suggest you reconsider your approach to our species." Zekthon looked around his ruined bridge, at his defeated crew, at the human soldiers now efficiently securing his ship's critical systems. For 500 cycles, the Corvani had judged other species by their technology, their elegance, their adherence to civilized warfare. They had never encountered a species that treated war not as an art form, but as a problem to be solved through overwhelming, coordinated application of force. As human engineers began studying his ship's systems with the methodical precision of scientists rather than conquerors, Zekthon realized that the galaxy was about to learn a very hard lesson about underestimating a species that had spent millennia perfecting the art of making war upon itself. The humans hadn't just won a battle, they had announced their arrival on the galactic stage in terms that no civilization could ignore.